Hey guys, Craig here. Hope everybody's doing well. Okay, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name's Craig Babin and I'm on a mission to turn my part-time drawing hobby into a full-time income. And I'm hoping to inspire as many of you as possible to do the exact same thing. So if you have a part-time hobby that you want to monetize, then hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be posting some really useful stuff on this channel that you are not going to want to miss. That being said, let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to start this series for a while now. I'm always recording myself when I draw anything. So I have all this drawing footage just sitting on my computer doing nothing. I thought about posting the footage with just music playing in the background, but that seemed like a waste of a potential learning experience. I thought if I just answered subscriber questions while they watch me draw, I could both entertain and educate at the same time. But being as my channel is so new, I haven't really had enough questions being posted by viewers to be able to make a video like this, until now. So here it is, the official launch of my speed drawing Q&A series. In this first video of my new series, I'll be drawing the cover art from my latest creation, the Doodle Journal, Halloween edition. What's a Doodle Journal? I'm glad you asked. The Doodle Journal is a 120-page notebook created for compulsive doodlers. No longer do you have to clutter up your notebooks with random doodles. This notebook comes with a complete render of the cover artwork, for those who like the color. It also comes with one completed margin doodle just to get you started. The remainder of the book consists of 116 wide ruled line notebook pages, 58 of which have a designated doodle area surrounded by a Halloween themed bone border, just for your doodling pleasure. This book is available on Amazon in pretty much every country, and you can find a link to it in the description below. As for the Q&A part of this video, I'll be answering questions on NFTs, how to set up book interiors for KDP, how to create low content books if you don't have any publishing software, and more. So if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, so the first question is from Colin, who says, Craig, great video series so far. Have you ever thought about making one on NFTs? I'd be very interested. Keep up the great content. Thanks, Colin. And to answer your question, no, I haven't really thought about making a video on NFTs, but that doesn't mean I won't in the future. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with NFTs, NFT stands for non-fungible token. A very quick explanation of fungible and non-fungible tokens would be an ordinary $100 bill. That's a fungible token. The reason it's fungible is because its value is predetermined and it can be exchanged for something of an equal predetermined value, like 5 $20 bills, for example. But that same $100 bill would become non-fungible if someone famous, like say Tom Cruise, was to sign it. The bill would become a collector's item, and depending on how badly some Tom Cruise fan wanted that bill, the value of it could go up immensely. So the 5 $20 bills would no longer be an even trade for the autographed $100 bill. But the main purpose of NFTs for digital artists is the opportunity to sell original art instead of just reproductions. When someone who is a traditional painter paints a picture on a canvas, the painting itself is the original artwork. The artist can scan the painting and sell reproductions of the original piece at a lower price, but the original artwork on the canvas will always hold the most value, and its value will be determined by the artist's popularity and overall demand for the piece. This is something digital artists have never been able to take part in. Since their work is digital, there really isn't a physical original piece of artwork that collectors could bid on and own. Until now. NFTs allow artists to mint what's called an NFT token, which is supposed to be proof that the digital file attached to that token is the original or first digital file that the artist created. And that token could be sold on the open market, very similar to the way paintings are sold in galleries. The highest bidder gets the token. So as a purely digital artist, why am I not super excited about this? Well, for a few reasons. To me, the NFT market is still in its buggy beta version. I'd need to see them sort out a few of the market's issues before I ever got involved with it. The first issue is the carbon footprint that these tokens leave on the environment. From everything I've read, creating one token requires a lot of computing power. In fact, minting one token uses about the same amount of energy as one person would use in an entire month just living day to day. That's a lot of energy for just one little token. The second issue is art theft. Now, I've watched quite a few videos on how to mint an NFT on many different platforms, and not one of them required any substantial proof of ownership of the artwork being attached to the token. In fact, there have already been a few cases of people falsely creating NFTs for artwork they didn't own, and unless something is done to prevent this, it's only going to get worse. As an artist who creates purely in a vector format, proving ownership of my artwork is pretty simple. I'm the only one who has the working vector file with all of its layers still intact. Anyone downloading my art from the internet is just getting a smaller rasterized version of my work. But for artists like photographers, this can become a tricky situation, especially if they're posting their raw and unedited photos on social media. Where the problem really arises is in the trust factor of the overall marketplace. NFTs are supposed to be a way to prove ownership of original digital media. If art thieves start flooding the market with stolen NFT artwork, then the consumer trust in the market will diminish and the whole market will collapse. The third issue I have with NFTs is the ability for a temporary trend to manipulate the token's value. And this is something that's inherent in pretty much all collectibles, but due to the hype currently surrounding NFTs, it's much worse in this situation. An NFT is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. New NFTs are like new iPhones. When they first come out, everyone has to have them and they're willing to pay anything to get one. But then after a few months, a new device comes out and everyone's attention shifts to that. So what does that mean for NFTs? It means that just because you paid $1,000 for a trending NFT token today, doesn't necessarily mean that someone will be willing to buy that same token from you for $2,000 tomorrow. In fact, they may not even be willing to pay you $20 for it tomorrow, which leaves you $980 out of pocket, and now you're stuck with a digital file that's basically worthless. See, physical art tends to hold its value because it's rare. If you were an art lover who wanted a copy of the Mona Lisa to hang in your living room, the best you could hope for is a moderate to low quality framed poster that was a photograph of the actual painting, which is not the same viewing experience as when you're looking at the original painting, and this is why the painting sells for so much more than the reproductions. But when talking NFTs, the digital file you get with your token is pretty much going to be identical to the hundreds, if not thousands of copies of that image that are currently circulating the internet for free. Sure, the original image may be slightly larger, but the viewing experience will pretty much be the same. Within the next few years, it's possible that the number of art tokens available on the NFT marketplace will surpass the number of actual physical paintings that have been created over the past 100 years. And 10 years from now, that number could be tripled. And that's going to lead to a very saturated market with wild price fluctuations. I think NFTs are a great way for very popular and established artists to earn some big money for their extensive body of work. But for new and less well-known artists, I think you'll find that the fees involved in just turning your artwork into tokens will probably far exceed any financial gains you might make from a sale. The NFT market is a gold rush right now and everybody wants in. So for that reason, I myself am willing to wait until those controlling the NFT market lay down a few more ground rules. So until that time, Colin, I'm afraid you won't be seeing a video on NFTs on this channel. But thanks for the question. Now the second question comes from CatSnoop, who asks, "Hi Craig, can you explain more about the margins on InDesign for KDP?" I've had a couple of questions on both margins and bleed when it comes to creating low content books for KDP, so maybe I didn't explain it well enough in my video on how to create low content books in InDesign. When it comes to margins, all you really need to know is that all of your important information like text and images that you don't want cut off in any way should stay within the margins you set up for your book. Now there's no magic number when it comes to setting up margins, although I don't recommend creating margins any smaller than 0.25 inches. Anything smaller than that is getting too close to the edge of the paper where the book will be cropped by the printer. I also don't recommend creating margins any wider than 0.5 inches. Anything wider than this will leave a big empty border around the edge of your page, which is just basically wasted space. Now, regardless of what margin size you choose, it's important to remember to add 0.25 inches to the gutter margins. Every page has 4 margins: the top, bottom, and outside margins, and the inside or gutter margin, which is just basically the fold of the book. If you've ever opened a brand new writing journal that had over 100 pages in it, and that had a perfect binding is when the folded pages are glued flat onto the seam of the cover. I'm sure you've noticed that the book wouldn't lay flat. It's easy to access the top, bottom, and outside edges of each page, but sometimes you have to push the book flat to be able to write on the inside edge of the page. Well, that's the gutter of the book, and you need to make sure when creating a book that's designed for writing in, or any book for that matter, that the user won't have to try and write or read something printed in the gutter area of the book. So to ensure that this doesn't happen, it's best to add an additional 0.25 inches onto the gutter margin, just to make sure that nothing important is printed in the gutter. Now keep in mind that if you're just creating a line journal and your book is filled with nothing but line pages, then it's okay to run the lines right to the center of the book. People can just stop writing whenever they want and then just go to the next line. But if you're creating something like a coloring book or a day timer that has a monthly calendar in it, you don't want any of the boxes from your calendar or coloring book illustrations printing in the gutter. It would make writing or coloring those areas too difficult. So that's the reason for adding the extra 0.25 inches to the book's interior margin. Now when it comes to the bleed for a KDP book, the only time you need to use bleed is when you want your printed content to go flush to the edge of your page. Some example of books that would want this is like a lined notebook without borders, or a children's picture book that has illustrated backgrounds like sky and grass that go right to the very edge of the page. To ensure that everything runs flush with the edge of the page, you're going to want to add that bleed to the outside of your book page so that when the book is cropped by the printer, there won't be any white edges around the outside of your book. This may still seem a little confusing without seeing a visual, so what I think I'm going to do is create a really short video on when to and when not to use bleeds in KDP books. I'll make that my next video, sort of a follow-up to my first low-content book video. So watch for that to get a more detailed explanation. The next comment comes from Kathy, who writes, "I'm surprised this video doesn't have more views. It's very fast-paced, maybe too much so." Sorry about that, Kathy. But there's also a wealth of information. Your artwork is really beautiful. I myself would like to try designing journals or notebooks. This video has both inspired and scared me. Thank you. First off, thank you, Kathy, for the compliment on my artwork. Secondly, never hesitate to try KDP. Most of the people that I've spoken to who are thinking about trying out self-publishing feel the exact same way you do. But the truth is, there's really no reason whatsoever not to give it a try. It's almost impossible to screw up using KDP. You have two jobs when self-publishing a low-content book. The first is to create an interior, and the second is to create a cover, and that's it. If you screw up either one of those things, KDP will let you know when you upload your book for publishing. They'll let you know where you went wrong and what needs to be changed. Then all you have to do is go back to your working file, make the required changes, and then re-upload the book again. The only real mistake you can make that could potentially be detrimental to your self-publishing career is if you use artwork or literature that you don't have the rights to. Amazon takes copyright and intellectual property infringement very seriously, and you can lose your seller license for committing those acts, even if it was unintentional. So when it comes to artwork, if you're creating it yourself, don't copy anyone else's work. If you're buying the artwork or photos from a third-party site, make sure you have a written statement or a receipt that clearly states that you've purchased a commercial license and that you have the right to use those images. If you're downloading images from a free website like Pexels, keep the page that you downloaded the image from, as well as the terms and conditions page from the Pexels website bookmarked for quick access, just in case the right to use an image ever comes into question. If you commission an artist to create work for you on a site like Fiverr, make sure to do an image search on Google to see if the image you're buying shows up anywhere else on the internet, like in another artist's portfolio. When it comes to sites like Fiverr, just because you paid for the image doesn't necessarily mean that you have the legal rights to use it, especially if that artist copied or stole the image from another artist. There are some shady people out there, and it's up to you to do your due diligence to make sure that they're not ripping you off. When it comes to buying pre-made KDP interiors, try to modify the interior in some way, even if it's just by changing the font style or rearranging the page a little bit. Amazon's not a big fan of multiple books having the exact same interior, and they will remove your book if they think it's a direct copy of a pre-existing Amazon book. If it's just a journal or a notebook full of nothing but lined paper, then it's not a big deal. But if there's other artwork on the page, like hearts or maybe some type of writing prompt, it's never a bad idea to change it up a little, just to be safe. This definitely holds true if you're selling daily planners or fitness journals and stuff like that. If you're buying those interiors pre-made from a third party, modify them a bit just to make them your own. Beyond that, you really have nothing to fear. A little tip, purchase a copy of every book you publish. Not an author's copy, actually buy it from the Amazon Marketplace. This will serve two purposes. First, it'll give you a chance to see what your customers will actually be getting when they buy your book. And secondly, your purchase will give your book a sales ranking. The next time you're on an Amazon product page for a book, scroll down and look at the publishing information. If you don't see a sales ranking in one or more categories, it's because the book hasn't sold a copy yet. Your purchase counts towards that ranking, and a ranking looks better to potential customers. I'll be doing more videos on KDP and self-publishing in the future, so hopefully, Kathy, I'll be able to dispel all of your KDP fears. Okay, so the next comment comes from Mohinder, who says, "Great tutorial, hope to see more videos on Illustrator with every detail. Thanks." I definitely have a lot of Adobe Illustrator tutorials coming in the future. When I created my channel, I planned on delivering it in 2 phases. The first phase would focus on teaching people how to make money as a creative person using self-publishing, affiliate programs, sponsorships, and YouTube. This is the phase that I'm in right now, and I'll probably be in this phase for at least the next year. The second phase is when my channel will transition to more of an art channel. This will include a lot more drawing videos like the one you're watching right now, as well as a wide variety of Adobe tutorial videos. I'll be posting how-to videos on everything from Adobe Illustrator to Premiere Pro, InDesign, Audition, Photoshop, and more. My plan is to slowly start adding this type of content into my program over the next year, until it reaches the point where it becomes 100% of my video uploads. So stick around, Mohinder. I promise you won't be disappointed. And the final question comes from someone whose name I can't pronounce, but since the number 3 is at the beginning of it, I'm just going to call you 3. And 3 asks, how can I make your great children's books with free software? And can I? Yes, 3, you most definitely can. The closest free software to Adobe InDesign is probably Scribus. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But just know that if you don't have any previous publishing experience and you've never used Adobe InDesign before, Scribus is going to have a little bit of a learning curve to overcome. But there are a few tutorials on YouTube that can get you started. I get that many people don't want to spend any money when you're just getting started, but sometimes spending a few dollars every month can save you a lot of time. And as the old saying goes, your time is money. So for those of you who are seriously considering giving self-publishing with KDP a shot and you don't have access to design software, I strongly recommend giving BookBolt a try. Now, depending on which plan you purchase, you can actually get a subscription for less than $8 per month. And if you use my promo code, CraigBabin, when you sign up, you save an additional 20%. I'll put a link to BookBolt in the description below. What I really like about BookBolt is that you can not only create a book interior with their software, but you can also create the book's cover as well. Everything is there for you. The photos, the illustrations, the fonts, the cover templates, the interior templates, and so much more. They also have a service that allows you to create a wide variety of kids' puzzles, like word search puzzles and Sudokus, and all of this is included with the Pro membership. And if that wasn't enough, you also have some of the best KDP research tools at your disposal. You can find out which types of books are selling best, in which niches, and even see how many copies they're selling per month. Research is probably one of the most important aspects of publishing low-content books, and BookBolt has it all there for you right in one spot. I personally use BookBolt to do all of my KDP research, and if I didn't have an Adobe subscription, I would definitely be using their software to create my books. I'm going to create a video in the coming weeks showing you everything BookBolt has to offer, and I'll walk you step by step through just how to use all of it. I'll show you everything from how to design book covers to how to lay out book interiors, just so you can see just how valuable this software is. But if you can't wait for that video and you want to get started now, just know that there are plenty of tutorial videos inside of BookBolt to get you on your way. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the Q&A part of this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below of any of my videos. I make a point of answering all of them. And if I use your question in an upcoming speed draw and Q&A video, I'll be sure to give you a shout out. I really do enjoy hearing from all of you. It helps me to improve my future videos when I know what type of information you're looking for. I want to make my channel as informative and as useful to you as I possibly can, and I really need your input to help me do that. Now, if the content I've posted so far on this channel is stuff that you're interested in, then there's a pretty good chance that your goals are the same as mine. And if there's anything I can do to help you achieve your goals, then just let me know and I'll do what I can. Okay, so now I'll just shut up and let you watch the remainder of this drawing video without me yapping. Enjoy. Well, there you have it. The first of hopefully many speed draw and Q&A videos for my channel. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And if I use your question in an upcoming video like this, I'll be sure to give you a shout out. Just a reminder that the Halloween edition of my Doodle Journal is available on Amazon, and I have a link to it in the description below. As always, I decide which video I'm going to create next based on which of my previous videos are getting the most likes. So if you want to see more content like this, then give this video a thumbs up and let me know that you like it. Those thumbs up really go a long way in helping me to grow my channel, so thank you. If you're new to my channel and you want to learn more about my drawing technique, then check out my video on how to draw and paint in Adobe Illustrator. And while you're at it, why not just check out my entire drawing and painting tutorial playlist? I'll put a link to both of those right here. Until next time, take care.